Let's get right into it. Number 7. The Fake-But-Feels-Real Flashback. Imagine your brain acting like an overconfident movie director who insists, "Trust me, I remember this perfectly," while holding a script it wrote 5 minutes ago on a napkin. That's basically the flashbulb memory trick, psychological hack where your brain convinces you that a memory is crisp, vivid, cinematic, and often wrong. You might swear you remember where you were when something dramatic happened, a big breakup, a national event, the moment you realized your phone wasn't in your pocket but in the refrigerator for some reason. You can picture the room, the lighting, the angle of your own eyebrows. Here's the twist. Your brain didn't store the event like a video. It stored the vibes, the emotional shock, the chaos. Later, when you try recalling it, your brain goes, "Ah, yes, I'll just improvise," and fills in every missing detail with whatever seems plausible. And because it feels like a strong memory, you believe it. You defend it. You'd swear in front of a judge that the walls were definitely blue and the dog was definitely barking. Meanwhile, reality is quietly raising its hand like, none of that happened. It gets better. The more you retell a memory, the less accurate it becomes. Every retelling is basically your brain photocopying a photocopy, except the copier is tipsy and adds new decorations each time. At some point, you're not remembering the memory, you're remembering your last retelling of the memory. So yes, your mind, thing that stores your entire life, is casually remixing your greatest hits like it's running a nostalgia-themed DJ set. Basically, your brain is a confident liar wearing a lab coat. Number 6. Déjà vu's evil twin. Picture this. You walk into a room you've never been in before, look around for 2 seconds, and suddenly your brain whispers, "Oh yeah, this totally happened already." No, it didn't. But your brain doubles down anyway, acting like it's delivering ancient wisdom instead of glitching like a 5-year-old laptop. Déjà vu works like a weird processing error. Your brain temporarily files the present moment into the memory folder instead of the right now folder. It's like your neural secretary sneezed and dropped a document into the wrong drawer. The result? You get this eerie sense of reliving something that's actually brand new. But the really disturbing part is déjà vu's less famous sibling, jamais vu. This is when something familiar suddenly feels strange. You repeat a simple word like door or spoon 10 times, and suddenly it stops sounding real. You look at your friend and think, "Who are you? And why is your face organized like that?" Your brain momentarily disconnects from recognition, leaving you stranded in a surreal psychological hallway. These glitches happen because your memory and perception systems are constantly syncing like badly designed Bluetooth devices. When they slip out of sync, your mind has to guess, and it guesses wrong in a way that feels disturbingly profound. Number 5. The illusion of control. Imagine standing in line at the grocery store, checking out, and suddenly, bam, you have this urge to rearrange your basket for optimal placement of items like it's a game of Tetris. Why? Because your brain has tricked you into thinking you're in charge of things you literally cannot control, like the speed of the checkout line, or the fact that the cashier doesn't appreciate your fresh attempt at organizational genius. This little trick is the illusion of control, the belief that you have more influence over situations than you really do. This psychological hack is like a cheap, self-soothing mechanism because your brain hates uncertainty. It needs to feel like it's making decisions, even when it isn't. Take gambling, for example. You know the odds are stacked against you, but that doesn't stop you from shaking the dice extra hard or blowing on the slot machine because for a split second, you feel like you're somehow affecting the outcome. It's not true, but your brain doesn't care. It'll even create fake connections, like "I always win when I wear my lucky socks," just to give you a sense of control over your fate. It's like the mental version of pretending to steer your car while your friend is driving. Cute, but not effective. It's kind of like your brain wants to be the puppet master, but is too lazy to actually pull the strings. Instead, it fakes it by making you think you have more control than you do, just to keep things running smoothly, until your luck runs out and you're standing there with your overpriced grocery haul, wishing you could rearrange your life. Number 4. The Mandela effect. Who's lying to you? We all know the scene. You're discussing something with your friends, and then someone pipes up with, "You're remembering that wrong." Excuse me? No, you are. It was always Berenstain Bears, not Berenstein. And everyone knows Looney Tunes was spelled with a U, right? Wait, wasn't it? This phenomenon, my friends, is the Mandela effect, where large groups of people collectively misremember something, and it gets wild. Now, before you start accusing your friends of some sort of conspiracy, let's just admit it. Your brain is a terrible historian. It takes shortcuts by filling in gaps with the most plausible, but often inaccurate information. So, when a bunch of people all remember something in exactly the same way, even though it's wrong, that's the Mandela effect in action. Your brain doesn't like ambiguity, so when you can't fully remember a specific detail, it pulls from whatever's nearby in your mental archives to make an educated guess. And when millions of people do this, you get a cultural misremembering. The kicker? Your brain doesn't want to admit it's wrong, so it gives you this nagging feeling that there's some kind of conspiracy going on. It's not. You just fell for a massive, collective memory fail. Your brain wants to be right, even when it's clearly not. But here's the ironic part. If you remember something wrong with a bunch of other people, you're more likely to argue and defend it because it feels more real that way. You and your 50 friends all agree, so clearly, it must have been Berenstain, even though it's not. This is like having a group of people look at a giant painting of a red square and all deciding it's blue together. You create your own truth. So, no, your friends aren't messing with your head. You've just got a perfectly timed brain glitch to thank for your collective delusion. delusion. Congratulations, you're all victims of the Mandela effect. Number 3. Memory is basically a gossip column. You know how rumors spread like wildfire? One person tells a story, and by the time it reaches the 10th person, it's somehow morphed into a completely different tale. Well, your memory works the same way. Every time you recall something, your brain doesn't just replay the original event like a perfect recording. No, it reshapes the story, and the new version can be way more dramatic or dramatically incorrect than the truth. This is the misinformation effect. Your brain is like that one friend who's always a little too good at exaggerating. It can turn a simple encounter into a full-blown saga. When you retell it, you unknowingly add to the story's growing list of enhancements. It's like if every time you retold a memory, your brain added a sparkle filter and some extra plot twists. Let's say you're recalling a party from last year. You remember laughing with friends, the music, maybe a funny story someone told, but then your brain starts filling in the gaps with what feels right, like adding in a dramatic argument you're pretty sure never happened, or making that toast you gave a lot fancier than it was. The more you tell the story, the more these fake details stick, and over time they feel like they actually happened. It's like a mental game of whispers, or Chinese whispers for our global friends, but inside your own head. This is why eyewitness testimony is so unreliable. Your brain isn't a trustworthy reporter, it's the gossip columnist of the mind, embellishing and reinterpreting details until everything becomes a little bit more convenient. So, next time you get into a heated argument about a past event, just remember, your brain might be embellishing its own version of the truth, just like that friend who told you they were totally at the party, but like no one remembered because the DJ was so loud. Number 2. The false memory factory. Ever had a conversation where you're absolutely certain that you were told something, but when you ask the other person, they're like, no, I never said that? Cue the awkward silence while you try to convince them, I swear you said it. But here's the kicker, you're both right and wrong. Welcome to the world of false memories. Your brain isn't just passively storing your experiences, it's actively creating memories. This happens especially when you're trying to recall something that's emotionally charged, vague, or just plain confusing. Your mind is like an overzealous artist, sketching in extra details or outright fabricating a whole new scene because it feels right. The crazy part? These false memories can feel so real that you'll argue to the death that they're true. People have recalled events that never happened, like an entire childhood vacation, and later discovered it was all a figment of their imagination. Sometimes your brain's memory-making process gets influenced by other people's stories, suggestions, or even media. If someone tells you, oh, I remember you at that party, your brain will happily insert that image into your recollection even if you weren't actually there. It gets even more twisted. False memories aren't just embarrassing little fabrications. They can change how you see your past, leading to false beliefs about who you were, who you are, and even how you feel about certain experiences. They're like a mental scam artist convincing you that everything you've ever thought was real, except it's not. Next time someone tells you, you didn't say that, you might just be the victim of your own brain making stuff up. So, apologies in advance for any memory you can't trust. Number 1. Your brain deletes stuff on purpose. Picture this. You're standing in your kitchen, staring into the fridge like it personally wronged you, and you suddenly think, wait, why did I even come in here? Congratulations, you've just experienced your brain's built-in factory reset mode, also known as memory decay. And yes, your mind absolutely does this on purpose. See, your brain is like that friend who hoards screenshots, memes, and 47 slightly different pictures of the same sunset until their phone storage is full. Then suddenly, they're deleting everything from last month like it's witness protection. Your memory works the same way. If your brain kept every single detail of your life, every shoe you saw, every background cough, every random thought, you would mentally explode by lunchtime. So your brain prunes things. It tosses out old data, compresses huge chunks of experience into tiny emotional summaries, and straight up erases details it decides you don't need. But here's the scary part. This deleting isn't random. Your brain usually targets dull, repetitive, or unimportant information. Great. Except sometimes it mislabels things. Important stuff gets tossed into the mental trash can, while your brain proudly hangs onto that one time you awkwardly waved at someone who wasn't waving at you. It's not that your mind is trying to betray you, it's just trying not to drown in its own information flood. Every second, you're taking in a ridiculous amount of sensory input. If your brain didn't delete things, you'd be stuck replaying the sound of your neighbor's bad karaoke forever. The truth is, forgetting is a feature, not a bug. It keeps your mental hard drive functional, helps you focus. It lets you form new memories without collapsing like a stressed-out laptop. But it also means that your lived experience, the thing you rely on to know who you are, is basically stitched together from whatever scraps your brain felt like saving. Basically, your brain is the world's least reliable archivist, and yet it still insists on being in charge. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.